Welcome to the Confident, Calm, and Clutch Car Ride Conversations. I'm your host, Valerie Alston, and here to help parents and young athletes spark meaningful dialogue about mental toughness, resilience, and confidence. Whether you're heading to practice, a game, or just running errands, this podcast is your go-to for building stronger relationships and lifelong skills, one car ride at a time. Let's dive in. Today's topic, or intro, is actually a subject that I talk about in my book, Confident, Calm, and Clutch: How to Build Confidence and Mental Toughness in Young Athletes Using Sports Psychology. And in particular, it's focused on creating your champion support team. And so that's your parents, your coaches, your teachers, your siblings, bringing together a support network that's going to be able to help you as the athlete succeed and thrive in your environment. We know in the world of psychology, and specifically in resilience, and the research of resilience, relationships matter, right? We need belonging. We need to have a group. We need to have people that have our back. And there's a couple important reasons for that. One, as humans, we have a basic psychological need. We have three of them. We want to feel competent. We want to have autonomy, which is the choice over how our life goes, and relatedness, belonging. We want to belong to something. We want to feel related to other people. And without that, it is very difficult as a human to have any kind of motivation to be better or do anything, because your basic needs aren't even being met. Okay, so that's one reason why having a strong support network is valuable. Another reason is that as it relates to resilience is you need people to help you when times are tough. And you're not always going to be at your best. And there's going to be challenges that you experience in your life that you're going to need help with. And something as simple as, I'm running this business, I'm trying to get more clients, get the word out there for more people. I am not a marketing expert. And that's just not in my forte. I know how to teach mental skills. I know how to help people develop their mental toughness and resilience. But I don't know how to market. It's out of my lane, right? It's out of my skill set. The best use of my resources is to pay somebody to help me do that, because that's outside my wheelhouse. I don't have the skill set for that. And so as an athlete, in order to really create a foundation for your resilience, your growth, and your well-being as a whole, is that you need to build a champion support team of people around you to be a catalyst for achieving your goals and maintaining balance in life. And so choosing the right people to surround yourself with is critical. And they should inspire you, they should challenge you, and also help support you in becoming your best self. And adults, this isn't just for your kids and your athletes, this is for you too. Add all this to you. But here's some key things to understand why it's worth your time and your energy. Again, as I mentioned, belonging and relatedness is a basic psychological need that every human has. So if you're feeling isolated, if you're feeling like you're by yourself, or you don't have anybody to lean on to help you in tough times, it's very difficult to be resilient and keep going, because you're not supported and you don't have the additional resources that somebody with a team behind them would have. And in fact, this is a real thing that we got to talk about, is depression, suicide, those types of things are driven when people do not feel connected to others, when they don't feel like they have a support network that they can rely on, that they can share their troubles with, that they can talk with and laugh with, okay? Isolation is a big precursor to some of those more significant mental health issues, and belonging and connection is very important. The other thing that we know is that for children specifically, so kids, is that the ability to be resilient and grow into a thriving adult, it is very clear in the research that kids need at least one trusted adult in their life, okay? Now, that adult ideally is a parent, but it doesn't have to be the parent. It can be a coach, a teacher, a mentor. Maybe it's a best friend's parent. Okay, we know not all home situations are created equal. But when kids have that one trusted adult that they know they can absolutely rely on, that has their back, that is going to give them a shelter, a hug, whatever it is that they need, they are able to endure tough times, but also sustain their focus, sustain their ability to work towards goals and achievements because they're not scared or worried about where their next meal is coming from. Are they going to have a roof over their head? And I know that's an extreme version of not being supported, but it's important, right? So we need each kid needs to feel that they have absolutely one trusted adult that will be there to meet their needs physically, mentally, and emotionally. Okay. And we need to make sure that we're choosing the right people for our team. Because there's a lot of research that says you become who you surround yourself with. And so we want to make sure that the people that we're asking to be part of our support network share our values, our goals, our aspirations. And this is important, especially for your teenagers who are listening to this. It's true for everybody, but you become who you surround yourself with. And so let's say as an elite athlete, a competitive athlete, that you are dedicated to your craft, right? You spend a lot of hours training and developing for your sport. Okay. Now, if at school you have a bunch of friends who are a bunch of slackers, aren't particularly motivated, and all they ever want to do is go play video games and all that kind of stuff. Again, not that's necessarily bad. But if every conversation you have with them is, oh man, just blow off practice, come play video games with us, just blow that off, at some point, that peer pressure is going to be big enough that you're going to be like, okay, I'll just blow off. I don't need to go do that workout. I'll go play video games because that sounds more fun. If that's all that you have surrounding you, it's going to take so much willpower and so much effort to stay committed to your goals. And if you want to become an elite athlete, or at least just a dedicated athlete, you need to surround yourself with similar like-minded people. And that's true for school, right? If you want to be a great student, you need to surround yourself with great students. If you want to be a leader, you need to surround yourself with great leaders. So you become who you surround yourself with. And so if you are surrounding yourself with negative influences, that can really derail your progress, not just towards your athletic goals and your academic goals, but your life goals. Because let's just be honest, if you're hanging around a bunch of troubled people who all they want to do is maybe get high, or they don't care about school, or they don't care about whatever goals matter to you, that's going to bleed over into your life. Okay. So choose people who are going to help you move in the right direction. Okay. And if sometimes, let's be honest, especially as teenagers, what started out as an effective person to be in your support network, they might not stay effective. And so if somebody has become a negative influence, it's okay to cut ties in those relationships or cut down on how much time you spend with them. That's a real thing in life. We do that as adults too, that we have friendships that come and go. And sometimes people in the season of life that we were in were a great asset, a resource and friend and to us. But as we got older, aged, or our goals changed, sometimes we had to let those people go because they were no longer aligned with where we were going. So it's not good or bad, right or wrong, but if you're really serious about being successful, you have to surround yourself with like-minded people, okay? The other thing to really hit on is that if you're creating a support network, it's really important that you have gratitude and be authentic in order to strengthen those bonds and make meaningful relationships. And so the reason gratitude is so important is that misery loves company, but company does not love misery. Like, we don't like to be around people who make us feel less, or we don't feel supported, or that we matter to those people. So if you are never expressing gratitude to the key people in your life, and this is a big one, right? You can look, I'm assuming if you're in the passenger seat right now, look to your left. Okay, look at the parent or the adult who's driving you right now. You would not be able to get to practice without this person, this game without this person. And how many times have you actually thought about that? And have you ever said thank you? Because I'm sure it's going to be really nice for your parent or your coach who's on your left to hear that. It matters. And all the other things that they do for you, okay? And so expressing your gratitude in any relationship, not just your parents and coaches, but what that does is it helps build the appreciation. It helps remind you why you care about this person, why they matter to you, and it keeps you from getting complacent in that relationship. Okay. So Gratitude is really important. What does that person bring to you, bring for you? How do they enrich your life? Make sure you say that, share that with them from time to time. Okay. And it's also important at some point, not at some point, at all points, that you be yourself. This idea of authenticity, being true to yourself when building and maintaining meaningful connections. And what we mean by that is there might be many people in your life that you like, that they're interesting people, they're cool, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good fit to be their friend or that they're a good fit to be your friend. You want to be able, whoever it is in your support team, you want to be able to be yourself. And if you don't feel like you can be yourself, it constantly requires you to change, to stifle, to be on edge because it's, oh, is this thing that I'm going to say going to set this person off or make them not like me? And that is so draining and so exhausting as a human. Okay, we've got a lot of research in the resilience world about authenticity and being your true self. Now, I also recognize as a young person, you might not know who that is yet. That's okay. You're still developing, you're still growing. It's normal to not have it all figured out. However, right here, right now, today, you know what your values are. You know what kind of person you are. And if you can be honest with that, finding people who are going to match that is much more gratifying. Having 2 friends who you can absolutely be yourself with is significantly more meaningful than having 100 friends who you have to, put on a different mask around each person. And that's just not productive. Okay. Building your support team requires you to belong, connected, trust, have the right people, and be genuine and grateful. Okay. We're going to open up some topics here for you to discuss in the car. Again, a reminder, there are no wrong answers. Take turns talking and listening. Try to remove as many distractions as you can. And remember that you can pause and discuss each question individually, or you can just listen to them all and start discussing at the end. All right. So here comes our first question, especially for the athletes, but this is for both parents and athletes. Who is currently part of your champion support team? And how do they support you? In what ways? Okay. And of those people that you're naming or talking about, are there any relationships you'd like to strengthen? Or are there new ones that you think you'd like to build? So again, parents and kids talk about that together. Question number 2. Again, with gratitude being important, how can you show more gratitude to the people who help and support you? For both parents and kids, this question is equally relevant. How can you show more gratitude to the people who help and support you? And as a follow-up to that, what's maybe one thing that you can do this week to let them know that you appreciate them? Okay, so let's make that actionable. Share those ideas and brainstorm with each other. Question number 3. Have you ever felt that someone in your life was holding you back? And how did you handle it? Or maybe for the kids in the room, maybe this is current. Do you feel like somebody's holding you back right now? And how do you think you could handle it? And a follow-up, what kind of people do you think would help you grow and succeed? All right. And our final question for today, how can we, so meaning the family, whoever's in the car with you right now listening to this, how can we as a family strengthen our support for each other? Okay. Make sure you're brainstorming, putting ideas together. And so another way to think about that question is, what's one way that we can show up better for one another in daily life? All right. So those are your questions for today. Remember to keep that conversation rolling and just have some good dialogue. So thank you again for joining me on Confident, Calm, and Clutch Car Ride Conversations. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a moment. Share it with other parents or coaches who you think could use a little extra inspiration on the go. You can join my newsletter at www.confidentcalmclutch.com/newsletter for more exclusive tips and tools and updates about mental skills training. You also can buy my book, Confident, Calm, and Clutch, How to Build Confidence and Mental Toughness for Young Athletes Using Sports Psychology, And there'll be a link below in the show notes. And again, today's topic was chapter 5 from the book. So something to consider. All right, y'all. Remember to keep that conversation rolling and let's make those car rides count. We'll see you next time.